And we are live. I feel like it's been a while. I feel like, oh man, I'm just trying to think when the last time I did one of these was. I did one a few weeks ago to do the Animal Wars of the Kingdom Wave 3. Um, and then before that, I feel like it was a few weeks. So I'm hoping to get back to regular Wednesday nights for this. I've got a ton of stuff to open, so I've got both some lives and some pre-recorded videos that I want to do for unboxing stuff. But I've just, I'm finally able to sort of get some time. I'm the Kickstarter, the Animal Warriors of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Kickstarter is done. The backer kit, as far as like my job in setting it up, is done. So hoping to get back to the regular scheduled videos. Um, and tonight, Snout Spout. The funny thing about this is that I got this guy at Toylanta, so I've been sitting on it for a while. What's going on here? What's going on here? Hold on. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Man, even when I'm not having technical difficulties, I'm having hardware issues. When it's not software related, it's hardware issues. Ay, 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 ay. All right. What was I saying? I don't know. Anyway, we're back. I got Snout Spout at Toylanta. Terrence was nice enough to allow me to use his address to order this. So he brought it up to me at Toyland, and I've been sitting on it ever since. And so I'm pretty excited to get this guy out of the box. Because I've heard nothing but good things about him. And I like elephants and I like action figures and I like elephant action figures, um, with articulated trunks and purple gloves. So this this guy is like perfect. Um, First of all, let's take a look at the box, and then I'll check in with the comments, and then we will take a look at this figure. So Mattel Creations, this is my first Mattel Creations sort of exclusive figure, but the box is very, very nice. So you get this sort of full art wrap. This really, really nice art on the back. I don't know off the top of my head who did this art. I don't think it's Nate Bart stuff. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know the names of some of the other guys working on this stuff, but just really, really cool art. I love this. And this is, this opens up and sort of folds open to even more art. So on the front, you've got a similar pose. You've got his spout there. But then you open the box and you've got this insert, and the insert has him actually spouting from his snout. Um, and I will just pull this out. And again, this folds out. So that's, again, just more really, really cool art. But the art and the packaging is cool. There he is in the box. Once you get it open, of course, you get him. He's nicely protected in there. He's got his snout protected. You don't want to get a damaged snout. And in the same way that the classified stuff comes with the little foot locker, we get this little foot locker. So there he is. Let's get the package out of the way. And let me take a look at the little, and as I said, this is my first Mattel Creations exclusive. I don't know if the other ones sort of look like this, with the little box in here. Snout, Spout, heroic water blasting firefighter. And then on the bottom, you get the contents of the box. So he gets his axe, he gets all his hoses, he gets his water effect, alternate hands, and backpack. You know, the sort of foot locker thing is let's be honest, not that exciting. But the stuff inside is pretty cool. Set that aside. I'm gonna cut him off the card, and then I will check in with the chat. No knives today for Star to get worried about. I'm just using the snips to cut the twine, and that is all that is required for this guy. So that's good. Of course, I can't get the twine off. So. He's a well-protected Spout. He's a big figure. He is quite a big figure. That's my first impression. My next impression is that he's not going to stand unless I adjust his legs a little bit. He's quite big, I think. I haven't had a Masterverse figure in hand in the last couple of days, but I'm pretty sure he's quite big. All right, let me adjust this a little bit. Promise I'll only do it once. Let me adjust this a little bit. All right, that'll work. All right, let's check in with the chat. Cobweb said, I'm here to see if that A is fixed yet. No, still not fixed. It's not in the budget yet, Cobb. We'll see. Maybe soon. Brick Something is here. Austin M says, just stopping in to say hello, and I hope the stream goes well. I got work in a couple hours, so I'm on my way to bed. Well, get some rest, Austin. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night. All right. I'll get rid of this comment as soon as my mouse kicks back in. I've got this weird thing where if I bump my mouse into my keyboard, the mouse just stops working. I don't know why, and it's only started doing it. So like I said, I went from software issues to hardware issues. Such is my lot in life, I suppose. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this figure. So Snout Spout is a big boy, and for comparison, I do have another Masterverse figure. So there he is. He's probably a half-inch taller at least than Buzz Off. And Buzz Off, I kind of I'm sort of using as my standard sized figure. I should really get a He-Man. I think I need a He-Man. It doesn't really make much sense that I don't have a He-Man, but in comparison to a figure that I thought should be big, but really isn't, the Deluxe Beastman is, you know, that's my biggest gripe with Deluxe Beastman is he's not big enough. He should be bigger. He should be thicker. He should be taller. I'm just not sure, you know, why he's not. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I still hope that they do another Beastman. I really hope that they make a bigger one. I just think that Beastman should be bigger than that. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Snout Spout. So here he is, in all his glory. So you get the beautiful, like the paint on this guy is pretty good. It's better than I would say most of the Masterverse figures. Like I'm actually, you know, first impression quite impressed by the paint. You know, the shading is much nicer. My first Masterverse figure was, of course, the what's it called? Barbarian? No, not Barbarian. What do they call? What was it called? The He-Man. I don't know. Naked He-Man. I guess I do have a He-Man, don't I? I have that He-Man. But the shading on that thing was terrible, like absolutely terrible. This is much better. It's still, it does still have the issues that I've had with the finishing on some of the plastic. So some of the joints, you can see where they've sort of fit into the mold. There's still funny little sculpt issues too, like the gap around his leg between, like between the leg and the sort of diaper thing or whatever you want to call it is huge. Like it doesn't fit. You can see a huge gap all the way around. It feels very disconnected. It feels oddly um oddly engineered, or sort of like there's a lack of engineering there. I don't know, it's just really weird. And Masterverse has a bad habit of doing things like that. The figure still looks great. I'm not complaining about the sort of overall look of the figure. It's weird stuff like that. And now I'm gonna go back and look at all my Masterverse figures and check out whether or not that happens more often. Because that's weird. Um, and despite that, his articulation's not that great. Like it's not like they did that so that he could get like a high kick, because he still can't. Not that I need Snout Spout to be doing high kicks, but it's just odd. I mean, there's always weird things about these figures. One other thing that I noticed is that the color of plastic between that piece there and then the thigh is not quite the same, but it's more noticeable on that side than it is on this side. It's just weird little details like that that kind of drive me crazy about the Masterverse line in general. Um, but that being said, the designs are really, really cool. And I'm actually really liking these figures. So it sounds like I'm sort of, overly critical of these figures, but I'm not. I keep buying them, and I'm not buying them because I'm just a huge Motu fan and I can't live without these. I'm buying them because I really do like the designs. I mean, I really think that this design is really cool. Um, and was very excited to get this figure. You do of course get the articulated trunk, and it is how is it articulate? Okay, so it's, yeah, they're like, it's either really stiff. Okay, it's just really stiff, so it's just gonna take a little bit of wiggling to get this thing to do what I kind of wanted to do, or whatever. But I'll play with that and sort of get a feel for it and have some fun with it. It is articulated. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. It's fully articulated right to the end, so that's cool. But this one looks like it's. Oh, the end one looks like it's gonna come out if I try to overly articulate it. Like this one, oh man, I don't like that. Or maybe I just didn't notice it at first. I don't know. When I heat it up, I'll see. Um, I didn't notice it at first, so maybe it was like that from the start. But yeah, the figure looks really, really good. The colors are a ton of fun. You get, sort of an indigo for the boot, orange all the way through for the flesh tone. Is that a flesh tone? I don't know. You get some red for the straps. You get a different color of red for the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads plug into the sort of web gear harness thing. This harness is better than most of the Masterverse ones, because it doesn't have that old school sort of belt style where they just have the little bump that kind of keeps it closed. These are actually pegged on, and they look to be pegged on pretty securely, with a mushroom style peg. So that's good. Light piping for the eyes. I don't have any backlight to really light it up. Although, let me see. Okay, bear with me. Hopefully this won't mess with the camera too much. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's sort of lighting up the whole thing. But from where I'm sitting, I can see the eyes sort of light up. Very, very cool. Very nice touch. I'm kind of digging that too. They look dark when you don't have light above it, so that's kind of a pain in the butt that you don't see anything unless it's top lit like that. But that's something that I can absolutely live with. I'm not really too worried about that. So all in all, very, very good figure. Let's take a minute to look at the accessories, if he'll stand like that. And I will start with what is in. There was a little sort of bag. So we get a short hose. We get the water blast effect in a very light translucent, transparent almost, very, very pale blue. It's very much, the color that you would think water would be. How appropriate. You get the alternate fists, as I said, in this very, very lovely, very vibrant fuchsia pink. A backpack that is going to plug onto that harness with little water canisters, which I think is really, really cool. Hoses are going to plug in. So this hose is going to plug in at the top here, and then into the back of the head. And then these hoses are going to plug into the bottom. Make sure I get them right. So there's also these two hoses here. And there's a bit of a mushroom sort of shape to that as well. So they just pop right in, but you would be able to get them out if you wanted to, for whatever reason. So there you go. There's that. Not much paint on this. There's paint sort of in this transparent little water canister, but nothing on this. I have a weird thing where like I don't typically customize the first version of anything that I get, and because I'm only getting sort of one of every Masterverse thing, I don't think I'm really going to end up customizing any of these. That Savage He-Man, thank you Cobweb for letting me know that it's Savage He-Man. That Savage He-Man might be the exception because I might try to take some of that shading off because it just looks bad, and I'm not going to really do anything with it otherwise. Lastly, he comes with this big old axe, and this thing is really big. And I just noticed that it's got a hole in either end. And that's not designed to port in there. Okay, that's fine. But I wonder if there is something that's designed to port into there. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Is there another accessory for another figure, something that fits with this? It is a hexagon shape. So I feel like there's got to be a reason that there's a hexagon shape in there. Well, there's a hexagon shape on here too. So what is going on? Am I missing something? Is there something? Is there some other thing that is meant to like plug into this? I don't know. It's not going to plug onto the axe because that doesn't really make any sense. Because as I said, this is going to go into the back of his head. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm not too worried about it. And then this backpack, as I said, is going to plug onto his back, plug into the back of the head, and then clip on to the belt. So maybe we should give that a go. Starting with the harness. The harness is a softer plastic than the backpack, so it does sort of plug in pretty easily. I'm curious to see how plugging this into the head affects like the articulation in the head, or not at all. No, it definitely. You can see that it definitely sort of forces that head down. So, Snout Spout is not going to be looking up very often unless you unplug that thing. But that's, probably not the end of the world because I don't think you're really, again, it's a little bit like, him not being able to do a high kick. I don't think that's what you're getting Snout Spout for. So these hoses clip on very, very easily, which is kind of nice because that means they're going to clip off pretty easily. So let me get. No, that's that's a hexagon too. So I can't help but think that in some world, this plugs in here. Why you would want it to do that, I don't know. Again, I don't know the lore of this, so I don't know if that's like. But this feels more rigid than the hoses and stuff, and this feels more rigid, so I don't want to force it because I just can't help but feeling that it might snap off, which is not really something that I'm super keen to do. Yeah, and it pops very easily into the snout, which I think is really, where you're going to want it anyway. Um, this figure's fun. Okay, now I'm sure that this is the same as the original, like in terms of overall design, but why would you put the axe handle there and not lower down? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like that's where I want him to hold his axe. But that seems odd because there's a spot right there for him to hold his axe. But that would be so weird to swing an axe like that. Um, just my opinion. I'm going to swap this for a fist as well. Well, that's just interesting. That this might be a cuff. I'm not going to take it off, but anyway. His hands are quite soft, which makes him sort of holding that axe like it's pretty loose, which is interesting. But anyway, there he is in squirt mode. All right, what's going on in the chat? Let's see here. Cobweb said Simon Ecker did the illustration for the box art, I think. I will take your word for it because, like I said, I genuinely don't know. And Cobb says he does have the new drop leg articulation. Okay. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, so that he still can't kick very high, so it still sort of doesn't make sense. So now the gap's even bigger there if you just sort of have it that way. If you push it up, it's still a really big gap. I don't like it's just badly designed. I don't want to speak ill of anybody who is making toys because you really kind of do it because you love it. I don't think anybody's getting rich making toys. But some of the engineering, some of the sculpting in the Masterverse line is it's just odd, and it's just this sort of like not questionable. It's just like some of the choices that are made are just weird to me. But I guess with AWOC, we're just really lucky to have such great sculptors. So maybe I'm just spoiled. And Red 5 says this figure is a standout for the line. It's a great figure. I still have criticisms of it though. I mean, it's still Masterverse as a like this. I agree. This is a standout for the line, without a doubt. One of the best figures that I've seen from Masterverse. However, there's still, the fact that I can't pose his head because he's got the hose thing is a kind of a pain. And I don't know if they could have fixed that. I don't know if they could have done a different hose or what they could have done to sort of alleviate that. But I mean, it's frustrating that you sort of do what you want with the figure. It's frustrating that the legs kind of look the way that they do because, as I said, the paint is better. The plastic feels better. I will say that the plastic is definitely feeling how do I say this? The plastic is definitely feeling less cheap than it has with a lot of the other Masterverse figures that I've gotten. So that it's a step in the right direction, but it still doesn't feel as nice as a lot of other toy lines figures in the same price range. So Red 5 says, I finally get to watch a live late night. I'm usually sleeping, but no work tomorrow. Nice. Good to have you. And Red 5 says, too bad it was an exclusive. I order everything online. And so exclusive, not exclusive, it doesn't matter. I still have to order it online. So yeah, the exclusive thing doesn't really bother me. I'm gonna say that that I know how people sort of everybody's experience has been different over the last few years with with exclusives and things like that. I haven't had any issues getting exclusives, so to me, it's not really a big deal. And I understand why it's done. Like I understand the economics of why, Target or Walmart or whoever gets an exclusive, why they want an exclusive, why the brands are willing to do it, on and on and on. So it doesn't bother me. I think especially when it's a Mattel Creations exclusive or a Hasbro Pulse exclusive or what have you. Really, it's just a way for them to manage this sort of the the inventory in a way that is a little bit different than the way that Target does, right? Like we always hear about, Target gets something, and before everybody's even had a chance to pick it up in store, it's like discounted in some places. By going the exclusive route, you can basically just never discount something. So you're going to sort of retain the value on it because you can only get it in one place. So people either buy it or they don't. You might sit on it for a while. You might sort of, they allow it to have a longer shelf life at retail price, which I think for some of these products is actually a really smart idea, because then it sort of avoids the line being devalued, if that makes sense. Um, Jeff Morris is here. What's going on, Jeff? And Masterversal Toy Hunter. It's been a while since Masterversal Toy Hunter has joined me. That being said, it's been a while since anybody's joined me because I haven't done a lot of videos, especially not in this format, for quite a while. So, he says, "Careful what you say about Snouty. He never forgets." I'm saying, this is a great figure. I'm not complaining about the figure. What I'm saying is the Masterverse line, I still think has room for improvement, if that makes sense. If that's not too harsh, maybe. Especially with other toy lines that are really, up and coming and really sort of pushing what you can get in a $30 to $40 figure. Looking at Jada, looking at Spiro, looking at a couple other guys that are really sort of just making really, really, really cool figures that are executed incredibly well. And then you kind of look at Masterverse, you kind of look at some of the Hasbro stuff, and you want, I mean, these are IPs that we want them to be better. We want these brands to do better. And I'm not saying that, like, do better, Mattel. I'm saying, like, I want Mattel to be successful. I want Hasbro to be successful. I want Playmates to be successful. I want these legacy brands to continue, because in a weird way, not only did they sort of pave the way for what we're getting now, but um, I have sort of respect and admiration for these companies because they've been around for a long, long time, and that's not easy. And they're responsible for a lot of my childhood memories. So I want nothing but the best for them. And I don't have the kind of saltiness that a lot of people will have. They don't owe me anything. They gave me lots of great memories. So um, let's see. Um, Massive Versal Toy Hunters. It got five. You got five of these, and three Cyclones arriving soon. That Cyclone figure is kind of cool. Not really one that I need, but missed a few lives as I've been busy still, and then I was under the weather for a bit. Well, I'm glad you're doing better. Never ending cough, man. Feel like I'm right there with you. The sort of the kids have caught up with me, and the schedule, of the last few months has caught up with me, and I've been just congested and kind of like low energy for the last couple weeks. But so I know how you feel, but hopefully you're feeling better. All right. That's pretty much all I got for Snout Spout. Short video, but short and sweet, I suppose. 30 minutes. I don't have much else to say about Snout Spout. As I said, because I'm not a big Motu guy, like I don't know the lore, I don't know like the origin, I don't know much about him. This is definitely like a rule of cool figure that I just really wanted to get because he's an elephant with a articulated trunk. It's sort of like cybernetic or robotic, or I don't know. Is this a mask? Is this his head? Who's to say? And does it make a difference? Nope. It's just a cool figure. I think, if I'm not wrong, the ears are articulated as well, which I didn't notice or I totally forgot. So that's kind of cool. I'm not sure how I'm gonna have them posed. Maybe one different than the other. Are they gonna be asymmetrical or symmetrical? I don't know. The tusks rotate as well, so there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And as I said, the light piping in the head is really really cool. Even if you can't see it because I don't have a light that sort of shines from that spot. The water effect, I know that for some people this water effect is kind of clownish, but I like it. I mean, it's for lack of having the actual effect of the origins figure or the vintage figure where it can squirt water. I think this is the next best thing. So in my opinion, that's definitely a worthwhile thing for them to have included. And it's pretty easy in, pretty easy out. As I said, the only thing that I'm sort of really disappointed about is that this thing, once it's plugged into the back of his head, is gonna basically set the head to a default position, which is not the end of the world. And then also the hands are too soft, so this just sort of falls out of his hand every time you bump it, and that's weird. But again, nitpicks, not even really negatives to me, because this is just a really really fun figure, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun posing it and playing with it, and I know that my kids are gonna love it. This is probably one that George is gonna be running around the kitchen with, so definitely glad to have this guy in the collection as well. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of all I got. Shorter than I anticipated going. But because it was so short, I'm happy to hang out and chat a little bit. If you guys want to, maybe not. Anybody? What do you guys think of this figure? Did you guys pick this guy up? I know it was Mattel Creations. I know that some people sort of don't like the exclusive stuff. I know that some people, thought the price was too high. I being in Canada, I am gonna have to pay regardless. So the price seemed pretty reasonable to me. Now there does, maybe it's because I buy too many expensive things that it didn't seem that expensive to me. But yeah. Anyways, okay, my mouse has done the funny thing again where it's not working. Oh, there it goes. Okay, there we are. Cobb, I don't know if Cobb's watching on a delay, because every time he comments an answer, it's like it's like way later. But I appreciate the answer. Cobb says he was a blonde hair human, looked like Prince Adam. His name was Jackson. Hordak transformed him into a cyborg elephant. So is he but he's a good guy, right? So Hordak transformed him into an elephant. And now he's still a good guy. I don't know. Doesn't matter. That's an odd story. So you basically took a human and sort of improved him. Eldor says it helps if the Mattel Creation sales drops in a very early morning, so I stay up to get everyone's figures in my group while they are still sleeping. That is very, very kind of you. They drop, I think for me, they drop in the morning too. I think they drop at like 8 a.m. for me or something like that. So, um, Ray says, nah, for me, I'm good with the classics Elephant Cyborg. Brick something says, I got him. Cool figure for sure. One of the best. I don't get the arm articulation change. What, like there was a change to the articulation? Is that what you mean? Oh, like they've gone with a single jointed elbow. I didn't realize that. They went with single jointed instead of a double jointed elbow. I think the sculpt is cleaner. But you know, you're limiting the articulation, which seems like a weird choice. Jeff Morris, I only have Origins figures. The Masterverse stuff looks good, but I have to be good and not buy everything. Good for you. That's yeah, I like both. I mean, this line is more in line with most of the things that I collect. The Origin stuff is just really, really great because my kids can play with it and I don't really get worried about them breaking it or anything like that. And Brick clarified, he says, just because that's the kind of dick Hordak is. And Cobb says, yeah, wanted him for the Horde, but he became a good guy. A lot of the good guys started kind of evil. Okay. Okay. All Masterverse are double jointed arms. Yeah, everything that I have is double jointed, so that's an interesting change. It does seem to be a completely new buck, though, but I could be entirely wrong on that because I just don't have enough Masterverse figures. Between 4 and 6 a.m. Wow, yeah, that is early. Then again, I can get up that early, so it's not. I would be getting up. I wouldn't be staying up personally, but anyway. On the note of not staying up, I should probably try to get some rest. So I'm gonna wrap this up in a moment here. And Brick said correct, 100% new buck. So there you go. I mean, maybe there's something else that they're planning to do with this figure, with this buck that will become apparent in the future. Why they did that? Maybe there's some accessories going forward where the double jointed elbow wouldn't work. Maybe there's, I don't know. I'm making excuses for Mattel. It seems like a strange choice. Anyways, it's been a pleasure as always, and as usual, I gotta say it's always more fun with friends. So thank you guys for joining me. As I said before, right at the beginning, I really am going to try to get back into sort of a regular schedule for these and a regular schedule for Sundays. That being said, I will be going to Joe Fest. So I probably won't be doing a video that Sunday, but Wednesdays and Sundays, I gotta get back. I gotta get back into the rhythm. It's surprisingly easy to not do these. It's a lot harder to get back into the swing of things, but I'm gonna do it. So like I said, I got a lot of stuff to open, and lots of people to talk to, and lots of things to talk about. Oh, I just had the Mr. Rogers song in my head. Anyways, it came and went. So I will have to save that for another day. Let's see. Masterversal Toy Hunter. I'm a heavy sleeper. My alarm is not 100% reliable, so I stay up. Yeah, I got kids, so that's pretty good. Pretty good alarm system, at least for me. Anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Till next time, bye-bye.